Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to Wheel Takes, a podcast that is usually about the Wheel of Time, but right now is about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
For the final time about the book in a first-time reader perspective, unless we do something else with it, but I don't know what that would be.
Yeah.
Alas, I'm Gus. I've read all of I've read the whole Hunger Games thing.
I'm
all
Allie,
of it.
and I've also read all of the Hunger Games at this point.
This podcast contains spoilers for all of it.
Yeah.
Which is a fun thing to say.
So if you haven't read all of it,
skedaddle.
Or if you're someone who
live on the
doesn't want to be
edge,
spoiled
and you don't care about spoilers.
Yeah, because some people just don't read the books.
That's
and
also
just
true.
Listen to us, which that's wild.
Unexpected, but very, very fun.
But I get it too.
Good to have you with us. You know what? I like these books. I haven't said that before.
You know what? Suzanne Collins knows what the hell she's doing.
She's got potential, this Suze.
She just gives me that double suplex straight to my fucking aorta.
Pure emotional damage at all times. All suffering all the time.
I'm in so much pain.
But in a good way?
But in the best way. I don't know why she is just writing these books so casually as if it's not a big deal, but I need her to stop, but I need her to also write 70 more of these, but I can't have her write 70 more of these because that would literally be contradictory to the whole point of the Hunger Games.
Well,
all very complicated.
I did hear that in an interview with her, part of the reason why she left Lucy Gray's fate totally unresolved, among other more literary and thematic reasons, is because she said, in that way, if I ever want to do anything else with her, I can.
So what you're telling me is, well, really what I think we need is a Tigress book.
I agree
Tigress
with
book
that.
when?
Tigress book would be the way to go.
Tigress book, how her and Snow's relationship really starts to fall apart, right? And how she ends up working with the rebels. I need it. I desire it. It needs to happen. Everything that happens.
Also, just give Hunter Schafer another movie.
Just give Hunter Schafer whatever Hunter Schafer wants. Hunter Schafer. That's it. That's all I want to say. I just want to say Hunter Schafer over and over again. Stunning in that movie.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
We've got 2 chapters left. And by 2 chapters, I actually mean 1 chapter and an epilogue. We have very little left.
Ugh.
And honestly, we could have crammed all this into the last episode, but 1, we didn't have time, and 2, I didn't want to finish the book yet.
I know. I do that kind of shit. It took me a year to watch the last episode of Schitt's Creek because I was I don't want it to be over. And then eventually I decided I got to do it. I got to just go ahead and bite the bullet and let that show be done. But I do that. I do that with so many shows. I'll not watch the last episode. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
I think I'm interrupting you, actually. I'm sorry. I actually haven't beaten Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, the 2 Zelda games that came out on the Switch, even though I've played each of them for something like 60 hours.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, I did almost everything and then was on the way to Ganon. I was in the castle, and then I was like, maybe later. And Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't get nearly that far. I played it for 60 hours and accomplished 1 quest goal. But then I got bored because all I was doing was hover biking around. But I feel like part of that is that I just don't want it to end.
Yeah, I don't want things to be... I hate when things end. I think that's why I like cozy games like The Sims or Animal Crossing, because it never really ends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can play indefinitely forever and not have it end. Oh, I did this with something else. The new Pokemon Snap.
Well, that one gets a little grindy after a while, I think.
No, because there's so many little additional quests that you can try to fulfill.
Sure. It's a good game, though. It's fun. Just a little long.
Well, I'm on the last level. I just haven't finished it. And I don't want to. And I won't.
I will one day. You can vouch. I have been playing God of War Ragnarok, especially over the holiday. Most of the time when I'm not doing something else.
Yeah.
Lately. And I admittedly did actually finish the story of that game. But here's the thing. There's a ton of post-game stuff. Will I finish it? I don't know. Every now and again I go I'm going to platinum a game. I'm going to get all the achievements. And then I get really, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I was going to platinum that game. But you have to beat it 4 times to platinum it.
Good lord.
And I got about halfway through my 3rd playthrough. which I decided to do with an added bonus difficulty thing. And then I got to a boss, which is a giant monkey on extra hard mode, new game plus. And I went, I could turn off the extra hard mode of it, but I don't want to.
It's not the same.
Yeah, I'm not suffering quite as much.
You know, it's one of those things. It's like you're going to pick it up again eventually. It's just like you need to be in the space to say goodbye to it at that point,
The tricky thing about picking up some games again is that you've forgotten how to play. Especially if it's like a hack and slash or a Soulsborne type game. Because those games are like you hone those muscles and you train those muscles for so long and you get really good at doing one specific thing. And then you pick it back up again and it's just like everything is jelly and jello and I hate myself and I'm terrible at this. And then you have to start over. And I don't think I have it in me to play Sekiro 4 more times. At least not for another couple of years. It's a very good game.
Yeah, don't do that.
Anyway, speaking of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and things that are cause suffering, Sejanus is gone.
The best anus.
I'd forgotten while we were recording the last part, but I thought that it would have been fun to name these last 2 episodes He Die, She Live. But the She Live would have to be in with a question mark.
I love that so many people on our Discord watched all those videos.
How can you not watch the He Die, She Live videos?
It's so weirdly compelling.
She must avoid the numbers
and
in
I
blue.
don't know what I can't. I followed her. I have no idea what her TikTok is. I have no idea what her TikTok is. I can't remember what her name is, but she occasionally will just pop up on my page. And I'm so joyful every time. And I go through and I binge all her videos again.
Here, actually, I put it in the description when we talked about it. And now I have to find it.
Well, now we're going to have to pause the podcast so I can catch up on all the videos
I don't want to finish the Hunger Games. I don't want to. We're going to.
I don't want to say goodbye to you all because it's so fun to have like a second thing we do per week.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well,
we'll still do that. It's just going to be a second.
Do we want to share?
We can't share all of it yet because we're still getting it set up. But we're doing a different book series. We've talked about it before, but there's more to it this time than just starting the book.
Yeah. We've got plans for our next venture.
It'll be fun.
We hope that you will join us for that venture.
It might be a few weeks.
Might be a few weeks. We're doing a new thing with that second series. So, we're going to be cagey about it just in case it doesn't work.
Yeah. In case we have to bail, we're not going to commit yet. But, we're going to do a fun thing. It'll be good.
Yeah, but it's going to take a couple weeks for us to get our stuff together because it took us 4 hours to put everything together yesterday.
Yeah. We did a trial run thing recording, and it was great, but it took a long time.
Yeah.
And now we have troubleshooting to do, and then we have to get a backlog of episodes before we actually start launching that because of, not wanting to be running alongside the finish line all the time. By the way, it was at Roxanne Philippe 1.
Okay.
ROXANE.
I gotta watch all her shit.
PHILIPPE number 1.
Roxanne Philippe. Okay, she's gonna suddenly get all of these random 72. People.
I'm in.
Here's a family update.
Oh, this is great.
Colin?
No, it's Colin, but okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a robot.
How's he doing? All right, I can't do this right
I always love the never gonna give you up Rickroll, but make it like old-timey.
Is that what's playing in the background?
Yes, listen to it again.
I did not pay attention to what was playing. I was just looking at the video. Are you serious?
Yeah, you just Rickrolled everybody listening.
I did? Oh,
yeah, you did.
No. Oh, dear. Hang on.
Here's 1772. Here's a family update.
Never goodbye. Never
Colin.
say goodbye.
Oh, my God.
And desert you.
Oh, my God. Oh, what does it say? Does it say his new wife, Snow? It all's coming together.
Oh damn! She hasn't done anything since October.
All
Hope
right.
she's okay.
All right. talked about her. She was like, oh, fuck, gotta
Yeah,
go
she's like,
underground.
I'm done.
The Hunger Games people are coming.
It's
All right.
just so soothing. There's something about it.
We've delayed as long as we realistically
Yeah, I
can.
know.
Chapter 30. Again, we didn't take any notes for this because we were too busy Oppenheimer facing. But you remember where we left off, Ellie? Where did we leave off?
So Janus died.
No, actually.
And then Snow was the worst.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
a given.
God. And the wife's name was Snow. That's so funny.
That's
I didn't think about it at all. I didn't think about that at all until just now. Yeah, Coriolanus was the worst person ever. Sent the money to Hunter Schafer, and which he will renege on.
Yeah, he will intercept
once
that
he
money.
realizes he's not going to get executed.
He sucks.
He sucks so much. I fucking hate this kid. I hate him. I can't even come up with anything intelligent to say because I hate him so much.
Well, yes.
He could
Listen,
literally.
Ellie,
he is like my bitch eating crackers.
We've done
for the
something
rest of time.
like 11 episodes of reasons why we hate him. I think we've reached a point where we can just say, fuck this stupid fucking guy. Or, to put it more eloquently,
because I've had enough of this dude.
He really is just
definitely haven't said that yet.
horrid. Why is he so horrid?
Trash.
Just, oh my God, you just caused someone's death and then you're going to go out there. Okay. Lucy Gray, it took her a second to see the red flags, which, at 17, valid. But once she saw those red flags, she was out of there.
Oh, yeah.
And I respect her for that.
She did not look back.
She was not going to do a breakup conversation with this guy. And you know what? This is the kind of ghosting that is acceptable. If you think that you are in danger, you can ghost that person.
That's true.
Absolutely. 100%. 1,000%. Ghost away.
Here's the thing. Where exactly did we lead? Do you remember the last thing that happened?
No.
He got accepted into officer candidacy
Because
school.
you know what? Snow lands on fucking top.
Because
I just
Slot.
hate this guy.
I don't want the episode title to be Slot, but it might have to be Slot.
Slot.
I don't
Tigress.
like it. I just don't like it. Slot Tigress. All right. So he got called in here thinking he was about to be shot, and
if only.
instead gets congratulations for how he's leaving for officer school tomorrow. And the commander says, "You're the youngest person ever to pass the test. Ordinarily, we'd train you here, but your scores recommended you for an elite program in District 2. I'll be sorry to see you go." He's like, "Well, can't do that because they're going to find the gun, and then I'll be, drummed out, and so I got to run away now." And
You're also the youngest person to, kill someone in the span of 2 weeks or whatever.
do we think Gall put her finger on the scale at all for this? Because I don't doubt that he also passed the test because he is a test taker and he is, I'm sure, very good at it.
I don't think so. And here's why. Because she calls him back to her.
Yeah.
Why would she let him get into officer training if she was just going to go, never mind, you're going to be with me and go to the university and be my pupil?
Does she pull him out of training? She does, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
she does.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good question.
Listen, I don't want to be like Snow got in on his own merit.
Yeah, I guess
because
he did,
I
though.
hate him. But he did go to a prestigious university and has said he's a good test taker. It could be that Gall put her finger on the scale, much like I think that she was the one who blew up the arena.
I'd buy that. Although I also would buy, especially based on the movie, that it was High Bottom.
I buy it either way. But I think it was an inside job either way.
I buy it. I mean, yeah.
I just don't think that High Bottom would orchestrate something that would kill his students. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's true. I've come around to your way of thinking, though.
Yeah, I don't feel like High Bottom would go, I'm done with child death, so in order to demonstrate me being done with child death, I will do more
cause
child,
some child
death.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I could see a world in which, like, his plan went awry and he didn't realize they were going to be, like, literally walking through there at that time. But I just feel like with Gall's whole everything, like how when the students die, she's like turning it into this big propaganda, and it just feels like she has a lot to gain from that politically.
She does.
I don't know.
I can take
feels
it.
Off.
I can accept that call. It's a good
Yeah?
call. Yeah.
You good with that?
not good with it.
I just feel like the timing of the Capitol thing is so, of the arena exploding when they're in there is so,
Coriolanus thanked the commander and headed outside where he stood a moment, weighing his options. It was no use. There were no options. Hating himself, and hating Sejanus Plinth even more, he walked toward the building that housed the generator, almost not caring if he was apprehended. What a bitter disappointment. To have a second chance at a bright future so irrevocably stripped away.
oh my God, everything happens to you. Gosh,
I
it's
had
so
no
tough.
choice. Fuck you.
There are
Fuck you.
there are people who think this way. It's actually wild.
Take accountability for your own actions, you clown.
Like, you are not a victim. Decidedly so. Lucy Gray is a victim,
Big time.
and you just made it worse. You make it worse.
So he meets up with
Whose life have you made better? Quickly.
his own. That's it.
Yeah.
He meets up with her at the hanging tree. She's got the orange scarf. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She's not allowed to sing the hanging tree anymore. I like this. They're talking about they're going to miss and not miss. She goes, "Goodbye, District 12. Goodbye, hanging tree and Hunger Games and Mayor Lip. Someday something'll kill me, but it won't be you." And he goes, "Not much to miss. I'll miss the music and the pretty birds. I'm hoping one day they can follow me, though. You know what I won't miss? People. Except for a handful.
I like people personally, but that's my hot take.
They're mostly awful, if you think about it.
I don't agree with you, but this is him. This is like the sign that he's really going toward what Gall's opinion is of people.
People aren't so bad, really. It's what the world does to them. Like us in the arena. We did things in there we'd never have considered if they just left us alone. I don't know. I killed Mayfair and there was no arena in sight. But only to save me. I think there's a natural goodness built into human beings. You know when you've stepped across the line into evil, and it's your life's challenge to try and stay on the right side of that line. Sometimes there are tough decisions. You've been making them all summer. No, you haven't. Fuck you.
No, you haven't. You fuck. You did not have to send that Mockingjay. They would never have known.
I know that.
Sejanus would still be alive.
Of course I do. I'm a victor. It'd be nice in my new life not to have to kill anyone else. I'm with you there. 3 seems enough for one lifetime.
Oh.
And certainly enough for the summer.
I remember our live reaction. You went, "Oh," and I went, "What?" And because it totally flew over my head. It's a good thing I'm not Lucy Gray. It totally flew over my head as a comment. And you were like, "Oh," he said 3. And I went, "Why would that matter?" And then I went, "Oh."
Uh-oh. Now I'm going to read most of this because this scene is a banger.
Yeah, read it.
A feral cry came from nearby, reminding him of his lack of a weapon. "I'm going to make a walking stick. Do you want one?" She pulled up. "Sure. That could come in handy in more ways than one." They found a couple of stout branches. She steadied them while he snapped off their limbs. "Who's the third?" "What?" She was giving him a funny look. His hand slipped, driving a piece of bark under his nail. Ow! She ignored his injury. "Person you killed? You said you killed 3 people this summer?" Coriolanus bit at the end of the splinter to pull it out with his teeth, buying a moment of time. Who indeed? The answer was Sejanus, of course, but he couldn't admit to that. "Can you get this out?" He held out his hand, wiggling the compromised fingernail, hoping to distract her. Let me see." She examined his splinter. "So, Bobbin, Mayfair, who's the third?" His mind raced for a plausible explanation. Could he have been involved in a freak accident? A training death?
Honestly, why not just say, did he say in one summer?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
He was cleaning a weapon and it went off by mistake? He decided it was best to make a joke of it.
I feel like you could say, I feel like you could, here's what it is. You take responsibility for Wovey. You say, I gave you the poison that killed Wovey.
See, this is again why it's a good thing you're not a villain.
That's what you say.
Myself, I killed the old me so I could come with you.
Yes, that's the worst one you could have said.
And she's like, ha ha, okay.
You're a big fucking liar.
All right.
Yeah, she puts 2 and 2 together really fast.
They talk for a while about whether they're going to be missed, etc. You know, I don't have a ton to go over about this.
And she's sitting there the whole time inwardly screaming.
Oh, no, I fucked up. Oh, I fucked up. Oh, no, I fucked up. I fucked up so much.
She's like, I somehow girl bossed my way into a worse boyfriend than what's-his-face.
Much.
Tope.
Listen, Billy Tope sucked, but he was like a run-of-the-mill kind of sucked.
I mean, his girlfriend did send her into the Hunger Games.
Yeah, but that was her.
Mayfair sucked.
Listen, fuck Mayfair.
Well,
Mayfair
then
sucks.
he stayed with her, though. That's the part
that was
that's
pretty
like
shit.
gross.
That was pretty shit, I'll be honest. But Mayfair sucks big time.
And he never apologized to her or tried to like make anything right. He just kind of made excuses.
No.
He's like, I didn't know she was going to do that. Well, guess what?
Oops.
You fucked me over.
Hit her with the ope.
Leave her alone from then on.
Whoopsie doodle.
Yeah, she doesn't need to see you. Don't show up at her singing gig saying that you sound thin. I should be up there with you.
Y'all are shit now. Bring me back. Not so good.
Go to hell, Billy Tope. You're probably there.
On that note, we're going to take a really quick ad break. Welcome back, Allie. The next thing that happens is what?
Speaking of being in hell, poor Lucy Gray cannot catch a fucking break. Lucy Gray is the victim. The fact that Snow is like, I've never had a choice. When Lucy, who literally has never had a choice, is standing right next to him, and his response to her going, oh, he's a liar, which you are, is to go, I'm gonna shoot you.
Not great.
You know, I think that the fact, like, I honestly don't think that she went very far. I think she just was like, what will he do if I just like disappear for a second?
Well, she went far enough to have a trap. And the trap is very defensive. That's the thing. He's like,
how fast could she have set that up?
She just put the scarf on a snake, right?
Yeah.
Not long.
That's pretty fast.
But he waits for a minute, I think, to follow her. He's like long enough that he's like, she's not coming back, something's wrong. It's not long, but I'm guessing it's like 20 minutes or so.
You think it's 20 minutes? I think it waited 5.
5? Okay.
5 to 10.
All right.
He looked around because I think he just flew off the handle as quickly as possible.
Oh, he totally did, because he's totally bought into Gall's philosophy, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, I don't know where it's the summation of that political international relations ideology. He's like, well, I don't know where she is or what she wants. I'm going to assume she wants me dead.
Yeah, he goes from 0 to I'm going to murder her really fast. Mm-hmm. And I go, good call, Lucy. Good call.
So the next thing that happens is they find the guns, and he's like, oh, shit. What the fuck? My guns. Ah, well, huh. How about that? That's wild. Unexpected. And
her red flags are waving even more vigorously and even higher.
Hey, what'd you find there? Lucy Gray joined him and leaned down, pulling the burlap from the weapons. Oh, are these the ones they had in the shed? I think they must be. Should we take the guns along? Rather not. I don't trust him.
I don't trust you, is what she means.
This'll come in handy, though. She pulled out a long knife, turning the blade over in her hand. I think I'll go dig up some Katniss, since we got the fire going anyway. There's a good patch by the lake. I thought they weren't ready. 2 weeks can make a lot of difference. It's still raining. You'll get soaked. Well, I'm not made of sugar. And off she goes.
Get the fuck out. Good job, girl. Thank God he bought that.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't really, I think. I think he doesn't totally buy it, but...
Now, the movie adds a couple lines here, which I think it's worth talking about.
I think it's necessary to add those lines.
Yeah, it helps.
For the movie.
Yeah, because you can't think, because he thinks this in a second. He's like, oh my God, I'm free. I'm set. Nothing is going to connect me back to the murders. And then he goes, actually, no, wait, there would be one thing. Lucy Gray. Well, no matter. She'd never tell. She wouldn't be thrilled, obviously, when he told her that there'd be a change of plans, that he was returning to the Peacekeepers and heading to District 2 tomorrow at dawn, essentially leaving her to her fate. Still, she'd never rat him out. It wasn't her style, and it would implicate her in the murders as well. It would mean she could wind up dead. And as the Hunger Games had shown, Lucy Gray possessed an extraordinary talent for self-preservation. Plus, she loved him. She'd said so last night in the song. Even more, she trusted him, although if he ditched her in the woods to claw out an existence alone, no doubt she would consider that a breach of faith. He had to think of just the right way to break the news. But what would that be? I love you deeply, but I love officers' school more? That wasn't going to go over well. And he did love her. He did.
You don't.
It was just that only a few hours into his new life in the wilderness, he knew he hated it. The heat and the worms and the birds yakking nonstop. She was certainly taking a long time with those potatoes. She hadn't wanted to go by herself, too lonely. Her song said that she needed, loved, and trusted him, but would she forgive him even if he deserted her? Billy Tope had crossed her, and he'd ended up dead. He could hear him now.
Because of you?
And see her sinking her teeth into his hand. He thought about how coolly she'd killed in the arena. First, that frail little wovie. That was a cold-blooded move if he'd ever seen one. Then the calculated way she'd taken out Treach, baiting him to attack her, really, so she could whip the snake out of her pocket. She claimed
she had to do that to survive. You know what? Wait, can I say?
Yeah.
Snow is right in one respect. Sometimes people have to make very difficult choices in life for good reasons.
Yeah.
Right? There is Snow's reason, which is, I don't want to get in trouble. Fuck you. And then there's like actual difficult decisions like Lucy Greyface in the arena. To throw, and I know he doesn't throw it to her, but in his own head, to throw the things that she had to do to survive because of the things that Dr. Gall, the conditions Dr. Gall created, because I agree with Lucy that like it is external circumstances that cause people to do monstrous things most of the time.
Well, and again,
most people are good people just trying to get by.
Just to reiterate, so many people in the arena in this book were doing, beautiful things.
Yeah. She completely ignores Reaper's amazing acts of bravery and kindness toward Dill and toward all of the bodies of the slain children in the arena.
Well, Lucy Gray sitting with
Dr. Gall
Jessup,
that ruin it for the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like most of us are just trying to be the best we can. We're flawed, of course. We make bad decisions sometimes, of course. But like a lot of the time, the bad decisions we make are because there are two bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And to like twist that into, well, that makes Lucy a bad person somehow because she did what she had to do to survive, which you wanted her to do in the first place. It's just fucking sick.
And she claimed that Reaper had rabies, said it was a mercy kill, but who knew? No, Lucy Gray was no lamb. She was not made of sugar. She was a victor.
Oh, this sounds so much like what the grandmother said about how she hasn't been a girl in a long time.
Yeah.
Fuck you, honestly.
And I think you're right,
This girl
Allie.
is traumatized. She's done nothing but try to survive all her damn life. And for you to judge her for that is just fucking wild.
I think you're right, Allie. I think it's no more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. I truly think that she counted to 100 and he was going off the fucking handle, and she was like, okay, good choice. Let me just quickly throw my snake friend in under my scarf and get the fuck out of here. Hopefully that'll slow him down.
So he comes out with a gun. He's like, hey, bestie, how's the Tates?
Yeah, I think she walked out of that cabin and immediately made it for the woods. Was around enough to see him come out of there with a gun and she went, oh fuck, he's coming after me. Cause he came out with just one, right?
Yeah. The assault rifle.
Yeah. The fact that he comes out with just one, not all of them to dump in the lake. I think she's like, oh shit. Yeah. Cause she does the thing. He says the three people. I think she immediately is like, okay, so he killed Sejanus, his supposed best friend and brother. So what do you think he'd do to me when he grew up with Sejanus, right? So she's like, I'm just going to see what happens. And then they find the guns. She goes, these are the only other thing that kind of like makes him guilty. Like the only evidence left except for me. I'm a loose end. Do I think my boyfriend, who I like professed to love and trust, would turn on me? Well, he turned on Sejanus.
Yeah, with no provocation.
Zero. So then I think she was, and she doesn't know that part, but she turned on Sejanus. I think she put two and two together that, well, I mean, she saw that he was in the room when he killed Mayfair, but like Sejanus was in that room. I bet her mind was like, okay. And then he was hung like several days later. So he must have like somehow sold him out.
Mm-hmm.
right? And now it's like, okay, I'm the only loose end left. So what? And we're in the middle of the woods alone. No one knows we're here.
And he has guns.
And he's got guns and wanted to take them with us. He's gonna fucking murder me. So then what I would have done, and what I think she did, was bop into the woods and go, okay, but I don't want to, like, if he really is into me and I'm just like misunderstanding because this is the kind of person I am, I'm gonna wait around and see what he does if he doesn't see me right away. Because if he had like broken down and like started crying or something, or like sat there and waited for her to come back, she would have come back.
Probably.
But he comes, like, I bet like it wasn't even 5 minutes, and then he comes out with a gun and she's like, oh fuck.
Nope. Pass.
And we know she's great with getting snakes. So she was like, I'm gonna grab the snake, put it under her scarf. Because that to me is not a trap that was set up with like a long time.
No, the snake would leave.
Yeah, exactly. She was just there.
So he follows her with the gun, and he kind of logics through all that and thinks about Sejanus. He goes, still, to think he'd kill her? He looked down at the loaded gun in his hands.
He's offended that she'd think that he would kill her when he's actively walking over to kill her.
Maybe he should have left it in the shed. It looked bad coming after her armed as if he was hunting her, but he wasn't really going to kill her. Just talk to her and make sure she saw sense.
Honestly, the way that he justifies things to himself.
Well, he does the thing again right now, by the way.
Creepy.
Put down the gun, he told himself, but his hands refused to cooperate. All she has is a knife. A big knife. The best he could manage was to sling the gun onto his back. Lucy Gray.
Yeah, that's why she took the knife with her, too.
She
was like,
okay?
I'm leaving.
You're scaring me. Where are you? All she'd have to say was, I understand. I'll go on alone like I was planning to all along. But just this morning, she admitted she didn't think she could make it on her own, that she'd return to the covey after a few days. She knew he wouldn't believe her.
Well, she's not going to now. She's not going to return to the covey now. That would put them all at risk.
Still no sign of her. She was giving him no choice but to hunt her down in the woods.
Oh, yeah? She was giving you no choice but to hunt her down in the woods?
So he'd follow, and then we get the
just
snake
the way
thing.
He justifies
yeah,
this.
He's the fucking worst.
It's chilling.
It's terrifying.
It's chilling. Like, I bet this was his internal monologue with Katniss too. And the rest of the tributes and stuff. I have no choice but to kill their families.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the only thing to do in this situation. So he sees the scarf and he goes, oh, great, I'm on the right track. He goes to grab it and he gets bit as shit.
Good for her.
Panic set in as he stared at the red, arched bite mark on his forearm. Panic and disbelief. Lucy Gray had tried to kill him. This was no coincidence. The trailing scarf, the poised snake. Maud Ivory had said she always knew where to find him. This was a booby trap, and he'd walked straight into it. Poor lamb, indeed. He was beginning to sympathize with Billy Tope. Bro.
Wow.
Bro.
It's so scary that there are people out there that think like this. They totally are.
And he's like, well, it's definitely poisoned. She's trying to kill me, man. This is fuck. Should I tourniquet my arm?
You're trying to kill her, and it's a non-poisonous snake.
Yeah, it's not poisonous at all.
Yeah, she's not trying to even hurt him. I mean, like a little.
If he'd felt better,
slow him down.
He'd have laughed at the irony of how quickly their relationship had deteriorated into their own private Hunger Games. No, dude.
Let her go.
And he's like, oh, well, she's definitely watching to see if the snake kills me. That's definitely what's happening. Think, he told himself. Where would she go? The answer hit him like a ton of bricks. She would not want to battle him, armed with a rifle, when she only had a knife.
I feel like Lucy Gray after this is like, no more boyfriends for me. I had 2 bad experiences.
She'd return to the lake house to get a gun herself. Perhaps she'd return. Perhaps she'd circled around him and was headed there right now. He strained his eyes and ears. Yes! He thought he could hear some... Okay, so, all this happens.
Oh, yeah, she tries to go back for a gun, right?
He thinks so. And then he shoots and hears a faint cry and sees nothing. And he's like, all right, well, I guess not. He goes, Lucy Gray, he said in his normal voice. Lucy Gray, it's not too late to work something out.
You just shot at me.
Of course, it was, but he owed her nothing. Certainly not the truth.
God, you are just a fucking snake. It's
Lucy
unreal.
Gray, won't you talk to me? And then she sings Hanging Tree.
Are you looking at me so I'll do it?
Are you coming to the tree where a necklace of rope side by side with me. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met up at midnight in the hanging tree. He's like, yeah, fucking I get it. You figured this Janus thing out. God damn, I fucking know. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. And then the Mockingjays start going off, and he just starts machine gunning the trees. I'm not sure any of this actually is happening. I think he might be hallucinating all of this.
Because of the snake?
Yes, because they said he's having a panic attack and might also be, like, seeing things that aren't there.
Maybe. I could see a world in which, I mean, you'd think she'd be gone. I mean, the snake thing, that must have been a recent thing, so she's not far. He says he hears a faint cry. If I were close by and he shot into the woods, I would be freaked out. I could see a world in which she is nearby.
It's just weird to me that he would shoot at her and then she would... Well, I guess the singing is to get the Mockingjays to sing and cover
I think
her.
it's to confuse him.
Okay, yeah, it's to get the Mockingjays to cover her retreat.
Yeah, it's so he can't hear her leave.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, because I think she was going back to the cabin to grab a gun, but that was for self-defense. And then he shot in that direction and she was like, well, fuck that. I'm not going over there.
Mm-hmm.
I need to leave. Therefore, sing and let the Mockingjays pick it up. So that he can't hear me leave.
Also had a great observation about how in the movie, it looks like he shoots her.
It does look like he shoots her in the movie.
But, go ahead.
If you look closely, the outfit that she's wearing in the movie is the outfit she wears at Reaping Day, not the outfit that she wears at the cabin.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a hallucination. It seemed like with that snake, they were going more toward she did poison him.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. What's a little light poison amongst
soupçon.
Former lovers?
Snow knows all about
Exes.
poison between former lovers.
Truly. Yeah, I think, they kind of went more toward the snake was somehow venomous and he's hallucinating. I think that it could go either way for me in the book. I
don't think she dies, though.
No.
I think she gets out.
Oh,
safe.
my God. No,
I think
she's fine.
She's way too smart to die to this chump. She made it through the arena. She's fine.
Yeah, no, there's no way. He didn't get her. I mean, the faint cry to me was just... I'm willing to bet that after he shoots into the trees and stuff, he searched the area for sure to see if he could find her.
Well, he doesn't actually. He freaks out and he's like, I gotta get out of here. The poison, I'm gonna die. I gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
And then it starts raining and he's like, I gotta make sure I can get back to base.
Yeah, I just don't think that he got her. I mean, it's like the poem. She's a ghost. She ghosted him, literally.
He pulled his father's compass from his pocket, amazed it still worked after the dunking in the lake. Do you know how compasses work?
This, gosh darn, well, no, because he's trained for nothing. But this metaphor of like...
Yeah, the compass, the scarf.
The like scarf being ruined, the makeup being ruined, but the dad's compass still surviving. Like, so that every part of his mother is gone.
Yeah.
And he's fully become his father.
Crassus Snow was still out there somewhere, still protecting him. Coriolanus clung to the compass, a lifeline in the storm as he headed south. He stumbled through the woods, terrified and alone, but feeling his father's presence beside him. Crassus might not have thought much of him, but he'd have wanted his legacy to live on. And perhaps Coriolanus had redeemed himself somewhat today. None of it would matter if the venom killed him. He stopped to vomit, wishing he'd brought along the jug of water. He vaguely realized that his DNA would be on that too, but who cared? The jug was not a murder weapon. It didn't matter. He was safe. If the Covey found Lucy Gray's body, they wouldn't report it. They wouldn't want the attention it brought. It might connect them to the rebels or reveal their hideout. If there was a body, he could not even confirm he'd hit her. So he gets back to...
He didn't.
He didn't.
Here's my thing. I think with the whole Gaul thing, most people, I don't think, would descend to the level of the Hunger Games, right? Or descend to hurting another person without there being like really pressing, really difficult reasons for why, right?
Yeah.
But I think that there are people in this world where it doesn't really take a lot. And they operate under the assumption that everyone thinks like them.
That's the issue.
Because in their mind, it really wouldn't take a lot for them to hurt another person, right?
Well, I mean, it's game theory, right? That's why it's called the Hunger Games. It's not prisoner's dilemma, but it's certainly in a similar arena. Not to make a terrible
Nice.
pun. I didn't really mean to do that.
Well, I guess also my thing is I think that a lot of these laws and stuff around like hurting other people, right? A lot of like religious doctrine and stuff. My like reasons for being not religious are because someone asked me like, well, then what prevents you from hurting people? And I was like, I just don't believe really that if you're the kind of person that would hurt someone, you're going to be stopped by laws and doctrine.
Yeah, well, not really.
Not really. And if you are, that worries me a little. And I think that most of the time, if you are the kind of person that wouldn't hurt somebody, you're probably not going to need the laws and doctrines.
Obviously, it's a broader topic. It kind of depends on what you're going into it for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying from that perspective.
But I guess for me, my thought process is like with Gaul, and obviously there's so much nuance within that, right? But my issue with people like Gaul, who, it really doesn't take much for her to be like, you know what's a great idea? Forcing children to kill each other. Yeah, they just think that everyone else feels that way too.
Yeah. Well, that's the crux of realism.
What?
Assume ill intent. It's much like the dark forest theory.
But what, it just seems like such a sad way to live your life.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? Like, how can you live a joyful life and feel that way? I don't think you can.
Not really.
And I'm like, and isn't living a joyful life the point?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. What else would be the damn point if you're not enjoying yourself and the time that we have? I don't know. It just seems a little pointless otherwise. And yeah, I'm not enjoying myself all the time. Obviously, shitty things happen, but like on the whole, I think I'm having a pretty good time.
I think Prisoner's Dilemma is the wrong game theory thing to tie it to, but it's not totally
it's the
unlike
risk
it.
That the other person might have ill intention.
Yeah,
and listen, I'm not an idiot. I don't go out into the world
of course
with
not.
like a
That's
big,
not what I'm suggesting.
kick me sign on my back. But it's like, when I'm walking around the street, I don't tend to assume everyone that's on the street with me is a bad person. That will hurt me at the first opportunity. That just feels like if you're living that way, you may want to see someone about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a dark place to live life from.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know everybody's life circumstances who's listening to that. That may
vague.
be a very
Yeah, we're being
valid
vague.
thing depending on where you live. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It's dependent on. Well, we're talking broadly, philosophically, theoretically.
yeah, broadly, philosophically, theoretically,
Yeah.
do not look to us as paragons of
Anything
Ever.
except for LaCroix consumption. I have been drinking a lot of LaCroix lately.
I fucking love LaCroix.
It's delicious.
This podcast is brought to you by LaCroix.
It's not. So he gets back to
LaCroix.
base,
It's like water.
but not quite. Water that you described a fruit to. He gets back to base and he goes to this medic. He's like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And they're like, no, dude, it wasn't a venomous snake. You're fine. Chill out. And he goes like, but I puked everywhere. And he's like, well, yeah, you were freaking out, dude.
Too much, man. And that's coming from someone who has panic attacks. Too much.
Also, can we talk about how calm he is about like, yeah, maybe I hit her. I hope I hit her. I don't know.
All of it is honestly, as a woman in the world, it's so chilling.
It's not good.
It's so chilling that there are people like this that exist.
It's not good. It is bad.
It is so bad. It is so bad. But I mean, I would this is my thing. I would rather live my life occasionally profoundly disappointed than live my life constantly assuming everyone sucks and then being pleasantly surprised now and then.
Then when he gets back to his room, he realizes that the lake water has destroyed his mom's makeup, as you said, and he throws it out, and it's destroyed the pictures from like his class and of Janice's classmates and stuff, and whatever the pictures he had were, and he throws them out, and he's like, yeah, I got the compass, though. That's cool as hell.
Ugh.
And he takes his
It's such a good metaphor, Suzanne.
It's really good. He takes his box of stuff, and then he also goes, yeah, and he grabs Sejanus's box of personal effects. When he got to District 2, he'd mail it to the plinths with a note of condolence. That would be appropriate, as Sejanus's best friend. And who knew, maybe the cookies would keep coming.
God, he is just always looking for ways to get ahead. I just don't understand. Maybe I'm just really not wired this way, but this is just, it's so wild to me that there are people out there that just think about how to get ahead all the time.
He gets to
wouldn't that be exhausting?
Yes, I would hate that. He gets to Capital, and he's like, why the fuck am I in the Capital? I was supposed to be in District 2. And they're like, nope, you're not. Get out of the fucking train. He's like, God damn it. Lucy Gray turned me in. I'm dead. Fuck. Shit. God damn it. I'm fucked. And then
if only.
And then he just gets kind of pushed into a meeting with Dr. Gall. And he considers her his old nemesis, interestingly enough, because he thinks that she is currently out to get him. And he
thinks everyone is out to get him all the time.
So the victor returns. Here, hold these. And she gives a bunch of baby mice that she's feeding to snakes.
Not
I got
at
your
all
letter.
A metaphor.
And your jabberjay. Too bad about young Plinth. Although, is it really? Anyway, I was pleased to see you were continuing your studies in 12, developing your worldview. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. This is good. Yes, it was eye-opening. I thought about all the things we discussed. Chaos, control, the contract, the 3 C's. Did you think about the Hunger Games? The day we met, Casca asked you what their purpose was, and you gave the stock answer, to punish the districts. Would you change that now? I'd elaborate on it. They're not just to punish the districts, they're part of the eternal war. Each one is its own battle, one we can hold in the palm of our hand, instead of waging a real war that could get out of our control. And they're a reminder of what we did to each other, what we have the potential to do again because of who we are. And who are we? Did you determine? Creatures who need the capital to survive.
No.
It's all pointless, though. You know, the Hunger Games, no one in 12 even watches it. Except for the reaping. We didn't even have a working television on base. While that could be a problem in the future, it's a blessing this year, given that I've had to erase the whole mess. It was a mistake getting the students mixed up in it. Especially when they started dropping like flies. Presented the capital as far too vulnerable, which is 1 point against Gall doing the bombing. You erased it?
Oh, that's true.
Every last copy gone, never to be aired again. I'm a master in the vault, of course, but that's just for my own amusement.
See, but that's a point 4.
What?
That she kept it. That she kept a copy for herself for her own amusement.
That's a point for her being behind the bombing?
Yeah.
Copy the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Why would that be a point towards her doing the bombing? Because she thinks politically it was really fucked up and bad that the...
Well, the really politically fucked up and bad stuff was like the rebirth shit and like, you know.
No, she talks about how it was having the mentors from the districts was fucked.
Well, yeah. I mean, she'd have to say that though, right?
Not to him.
Yes to him.
No way. You kidding me?
They can't trust each other enough yet for that candid conversation.
He was glad about the erasure. It was just one more way to eliminate Lucy Gray from the world. The capital would forget her, the districts barely knew her, and District 12 had never accepted her as one of their own.
All due respect for Lucy Gray, and I'm not victim blaming here. Let me be clear, but her taste in men needs some work.
In a few years, there'd be a vague memory that a girl had once sung in the arena, and then that would be forgotten too. Goodbye, Lucy Gray, we hardly knew you. Not a total loss. I think we'll bring Flickerman back next year. And your idea about the betting is a keeper. You need to somehow make the viewing mandatory. No one in 12 will tune into something that depressing by choice. They spend what little free time they have drinking to forget the rest of their lives. It seems you've learned a lot on your summer vacation, Mr. Snow. Vacation? Well, what were you going to do here? Laze around the capital, combing out your curls? I thought a summer with the Peacekeepers would be far more educational. You don't think I've invested all this time in you to hand you off to those imbeciles in the districts, do you? I don't understand. I was told... I've ordered you an honorable discharge effective immediately. You're to study under me at the university. The university? Here? In the capital? She dropped one last mouse into the tank. Classes start Thursday. And that's the end of chapter 30.
Damn.
Yes.
This sucks.
Let's take a second now that we're back from ads, because I had to go to ads because we've been going for like half an hour. Let's talk about this maybe for a second.
Yeah. What do you have in mind?
I hate golf so much. I really don't have a lot of deep thoughts on this. It's just it's a perfect summation of where he's arrived.
Yeah. Well, and also, do you think that she changed her mind, or do you think this was always her plan? Do you think she's being genuine, that this was always her plan?
Having him come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Then Sejanus died for nothing.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely Sejanus died for nothing. But I think that him having Sejanus, betraying Sejanus...
cemented it.
Was
she
just
was
like,
going to bring him back.
Yeah, that's my boy right there.
Yeah.
Well, what'd she say about him? She goes, it's a shame about young Plinth, though. But is it really?
Damn.
I know. She's like, I don't really care.
He's 17 years old.
Yeah. She was like,
He's a child.
He was a liability.
Oh, for her, definitely.
Yeah.
For her, he definitely was. She was trying to have him killed earlier.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember? Casca was the one who saved him. Casca Highbottom saved him and was like, no, we'll send him to the districts. And also the plinth money.
Didn't expect to come to the end of the book feeling really bad for Casca when we first met him.
I continue to always feel bad for Casca. I can't imagine what it would be.
I feel horrible for him. And Peter Dinklage does such a good job.
An amazing job with him. Yeah. You're responsible and you came up with it as a joke, which it's the worst joke in the world, right? Like, obviously it's a very what the fuck joke to make, but it's one thing to make a what the fuck joke and be kind of an asshat when it sounds like he was really young at the time.
Yeah.
Like a university student or something.
Oh, yeah.
Versus being forced to watch children die over and over because of you every year.
I think I did
oh
the
my
math
God,
once.
it's every year.
It's every year.
Oh my God.
It ends up being...
I know that it's every year, but I just years go by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you're doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like such key developmental periods of your life, potentially at risk. And then, God, every year from the time your kid is 12 to the time they're 18 years old, they're at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
1,701, by the way, ultimately, is how many die, not counting the final quarter quell, because I can't do that math
1,701?
1,701. God. Currently, it's 230.
In a way, Snow taking out Casca was kind of kindness, but
I don't know.
I don't think you recover from that.
No, you don't.
From being perpetual war crime machine.
No, you don't. But I don't think being poisoned by the person whose fault this was his son is a lot better.
No, but he doesn't have to deal with that circumstance.
Yeah.
It seems as though he was on his way out. I'm not saying it was right to poison him.
No, of course.
I'm just like, thank God he didn't have to see any more children die because of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's rough. And it sounded like every victor he gives money.
Yeah, which was
that's
good
not
of him.
Gonna fix it, but at least he's trying to make some kind of gesture.
I assume also that the prize money begins after this games. Like, I assume that...
I think it's some kind of sick fucking fuck you on Snow's part to Highbottom.
Yeah, probably. And also, he said, we need to get people to want to watch it in the districts because they're not going to. We should force them. And then she was like, eh. And I assume then he was like, well, okay.
No, she said you learned a lot.
She does, but she's like, yeah, I don't know if that would work, though.
They do end up forcing them.
That's true. Okay.
It does become mandatory.
All right, never mind.
It becomes mandatory. I think Snow comes up with the idea of the prize money because Highbottom gives Lucy money.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
And the Victor's Village, like all of that is so people want to compete so that they get more interesting competitors and so that they can perpetuate this idea of the inherent barbarism of the districts.
Yeah.
Like if they have volunteers, it makes it seem like people want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it less sad.
Well, it fools the reader a little bit. I was pretty anti-volunteer, anti-career in book one.
Yeah.
Until the end where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I've been fooled.
It's a way of turning the districts against each other.
I've been duped.
And then having them...
I got.
And
I
then-
was the stupid fucking bird all along.
Yeah. And then setting them up setting them up in the Victor's Village and stuff makes it seem like, oh, but it's ultimately a nice thing. So that, people in the capital are tricked into thinking it's okay. People in the districts are tricked into volunteering. And then by the time they figure out that this is actually really, because they're children and it's all propaganda, by the time they figure out that it's screwed up, they're already in there. I mean, Katniss, when she was doing the victory tour, had a little girl come up to her and say, one day I'm going to volunteer just like you.
I forgot about that. That happened? Or is that in the movie?
It's in the book too, I think.
I remember that happening.
Oh, well, in the movie.
That's fucked
Definitely
up.
that happens.
That's way fucked.
Yeah.
That's mad fucked up.
That's why they do the victory tour too and stuff. It's all propaganda.
Well, the victory tour is also to be like, look who killed your kids.
Yeah, well, that too. But there's an additional part of it, which is like, look, kids, you could one day be this cool. And then you just hold their families captive, and then you keep them in a perpetual cycle of having to be a part of the violence that so haunts them. So they never escape it. And their own children could be reaped, or their nieces and nephews. Like, I mean, who in our lives does not have some kind of child in their life?
Oh, no, yeah. Most everybody is connected to someone.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. See, this is why we said we were Oppenheimer facing for the entire last 4 fucking chapters.
Yeah. Snow came up with all of this.
And yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, oh, who would be really, like, because all the students got attached to their mentees and were upset when they died. Who would be really upset? And who we can just perpetually punish.
Previous winners.
Yeah. Well, because I think Snow from then on sees Lucy in every Victor, right? He's like, how can I just continuously screw up their lives?
Apparently, by the way, the next Hunger Games is Mags's.
Oh.
The 11th is the one Mags wins. I don't know how we know that, but the wiki says that the 11th is the one Mags wins.
Must have been said somewhere.
I guess. Alluded to. Oh, I guess it's from the movies.
Wow, if Coral had won, there would be 2 District 4s in a row. District 4 girls.
Oh, it's from the movies. It's a promotional poster.
Oh, yeah, they did promotional posters of the victors from their original games at one point.
Yeah.
And so,
victory tours.
Like, there's something of her as like a young girl on her victory tour.
Yeah, that's bleak.
Can I say? Yeah.
If you Google Mag's victory tour, I think it comes up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Finnick has one. I think Finnick and Haymitch have one too.
They must. Man, I gotta think about Finnick and be sad again. God damn it. The about face I did about Finnick. It wasn't sudden. It was gradual. Anyway. Allie, you wanna take away the epilogue? Jump in here, have a terrible time with all the slot of it all?
Oh wait, yeah, here's the if you want to see all the victory tour posters. So here's another one of Mag's. We can post links.
But then I have to collect the links.
Well, they're all in one thing on here.
Oh, they are? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just send that to me and I'll put it in the description.
And then there's the 38th. Looks like she got maybe injured in the arena.
Good God.
Oh, those are the only 2 that I...
Oh, that's too bad. It's just a couple. Well, not too bad, actually. It's great that whatever. Anyway, Snow sucks.
Oh, wait. Here they are. The 67th, Augustus Braun.
Let's look at these later. We can post the link in the description. We can look at these off mic.
Okay. All right. But it looks like, based on everything, that Mags had the first victory tour ever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Mags is when they started all of it. All right. Ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
On a brilliant October afternoon halfway into fall term, Snow descended the marble steps of the University Science Center, modestly ignoring the turning heads. He looked gorgeous in his new suit, especially with the return of his curls, and his stint as a peacekeeper had given him a certain cachet that drove his rivals wild. How he thinks about himself is so gross.
It's awful. I'm all for self-confidence, not for him.
Not when you suck as a person.
Jail.
But there's like self-confidence, and then there's, I have a certain cachet.
Yeah, and then there's pretension.
Like, have you ever thought to yourself, I have a certain cachet?
No, I don't even, what the fuck is the word? Let me see. It's what?
C-A-C-H-E-T, cachet.
Oh, God. I'm going to try to hit the button with my toe.
I know, I like hitting the button with my toe.
There we go.
They were already working on ideas to engage the districts as well as the capital in next year's Hunger Games. Snow had been the one to point out that, other than life of 2 tributes they might not even know, the people in the districts had no stake in the games. A tribute's win needed to be a win for the whole district. They'd come up with the idea that everyone in the district would receive a parcel of food if their tribute took the crown. And to attempt a better class of tributes to possibly volunteer, Snow suggested that the victor should be given a house in a special area of town,
there it is,
tentatively called the Victor's Village.
Now, at this point,
which would be the envy of all of those people in the hovels.
At this point, I was really concerned in a good way that you were going to get a blackout bingo, because you got like all but 3 squares, I think.
Something like that.
And I got all but
I felt
6.
pretty good.
You did incredibly well. I think, no, I got about like 8. You did amazingly
that
well.
And a token monetary prize should go a long way toward bringing in a decent crop of performers. Yeah. This is how the careers start.
My God.
Because I bet those 3 or 4 districts that end up being the careers look at each other and they go, pick the biggest, meanest kid.
Mm-hmm.
Train them, and maybe we have a chance of bringing our kids home.
Get a little food, too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I know how they pick which kids they're going to train.
We talked about this, didn't we?
The teachers definitely nominate kids.
Oh, I hate that. That's terrible.
Am I wrong? Because how else are you going to do it in a way that's fair?
No, that's totally fair.
And who else is going to know who are the biggest, meanest kids? It's the people that have the collection of kids.
Yeah.
And observe them every day. They're like, this kid likes to punch other kids on the playground, so he might be suited.
This might be a hot take, but I feel like the Hunger Games is bleak.
This kid is kind of a sociopath. They might do well.
And also, I just need to take a second to reiterate again how really good these books are.
They're really good.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
His fingers stroked his butter-soft leather satchel, a back-to-school gift from the Plinths.
Fuck you.
I knew this was coming. I knew. I was like, oh my God, he's going to try to ingratiate himself with them and become the son they don't have anymore.
They adopt him.
They adopt him. He's like a cuckoo.
Yeah.
You know, they like put the baby in the nest and then the baby like causes all the other babies to die. He's like a freaking cuckoo made human. He still tripped over what to call them. Ma was easy enough, but it didn't suit to call Strabo Plinth his father, so he used Sir a lot. It wasn't as if they'd adopted him. He'd been too old at 18. Being designated an heir worked better for him anyway. He'd never give up the name Snow, not even for a munitions empire. It had all happened very naturally. His homecoming, their grief, the merging of the families. Sejanus's death had totaled the Plinths. Strabo had put it simply, my wife needs something to live for. So do I, for that matter. You've lost your parents. We've lost our son. I was thinking perhaps we could work something out. He'd bought the Snows' apartment so they didn't have to move, and the Doolittles below it for himself and Ma. There was talk of renovating, of building a spiral staircase and perhaps a private elevator to connect the two, but there was no rush. Ma already came by daily to help with the grandmam, who'd resigned herself to having a new maid.
Oh my God.
And she and Tigress got on swimmingly.
I bet they do.
God, I hate grandmam.
I hate grandmam.
Grandmam is the original problem.
She's the worst. She is.
Because I'm like, listen, you got lucky with Tigress, right? Like, Tigress is great. Well, works for the Hunger Games, but
Tigress is about as good as she can be while still being complicit.
Yeah. Yes.
Because she's still complicit.
Yeah, but technically everyone in the capital is complicit.
Yeah. But like, by the end of it, she's doing pretty good.
Yeah. I think she loves her cousin.
Yeah.
And that is stupid, but understandable, but stupid. But Grandmam raised Crassus, and she raised Coriolanus. Therefore, Grandmam's the problem.
Oh yeah, she is.
Original problem. They're all problems, but Grandmam's the problem. The Plinths paid for everything now. The taxes on the apartment. The fact that the Plinths are paying for everything, but Grandmam's like, this is my maid. Fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her.
I just think
the Plinths paid for everything now. The taxes on the apartment, his tuition, the cook. The fact that They saved their asses, and Grandmam thinks of them as thinks of her as the maid.
Because Grandmam considers herself naturally to belong at the top of the social hierarchy. She thinks it is just and correct that she be there.
Makes no sense.
It does make no sense.
Social hierarchies are stupid and shouldn't be a thing.
Yes.
They're fucking dumb. No one is better than anyone else.
Alas, Slot.
They gave him a generous allowance as well. This was helpful because although he'd intercepted and pocketed the envelope of money he'd sent Tigress from District 12.
God damn, was I pissed off. I took off my headphones. I remember I took them off and I almost threw them on the ground. Gently. Yeah.
University life was expensive when done right.
Oh my God. Oh, it's all so awful. It's just so painful and terrible. It's so terrible. All right.
It just makes me seethe. I wish you could see both of our faces right now because both of us are just, so bad. Okay. Suzanne, you genius. Okay. Strabo never questioned his expenditures or nitpicked over a few additions to his wardrobe, and he seemed pleased when Snow asked for advice. They were surprisingly compatible. Well, yeah. Strabo fucked over the entire district.
Strabo sucks. Snow sucks. Yeah.
At times, he almost forgot the old Plinth was district.
Fuck
almost.
You, dude.
Tonight would have been Sejanus' 19th birthday, and they were gathering for a quiet dinner to remember him. Okay, he died when he was 18, but still, that's still, no matter what the government says, that's a kid.
A Ute.
So he goes to see Dean Highbottom. And he says,
fucking part.
To what do I owe this honor? I was hoping to recover my mother's compact, since you should have no further need of it. Highbottom reached into a drawer and slapped the compact on the desk. Is that all? No. He removed Sejanus' box from his satchel. I'm returning Sejanus' personal effects to his parents tonight. I'm not sure what to do with this. He emptied the contents onto the desk and picked up the framed diploma. I didn't think you'd want it floating around out there. An academy diploma, awarded to a traitor. You're very conscientious. That's my peacekeeper training. They both stared at the remains of Sejanus' life. Then he swept the 3 medicine bottles into Dean Highbottom's trash can. The fewer bad memories, the better. So, you grew a heart in the districts? Not in the districts. In the Hunger Games. I have you to thank for that. After all, you're responsible for them. Damn. Heard him right before he goes. Well, I bet his plan was I'm going to make him feel really shitty so that he definitely wants some of those drugs. Right?
Oh my God.
Oh, I think half the credit goes to your father.
I gotta go watch the end of Mockingjay again. Every time I think about the end of this book, I have to go watch the end of Mockingjay again.
How do you mean? I thought the Hunger Games were your idea, something you came up with at the university. For Dr. Call's class, which I was failing since my loathing of her made participation impossible. We paired off for the final project, so I was with my best friend, Crassus, of course. The assignment was to create a punishment for one's enemies so extreme that they would never be allowed to forget how they had wronged you. It was like a puzzle, which I excel at, and like all good creations, absurdly simple at its core. The Hunger Games, the evilest impulse cleverly packaged into a sporting event, an entertainment. I was drunk, and your father got me drunker still, playing on my vanity as I fleshed the thing out, assuring me it was a private joke. The next morning I awoke, horrified by what I'd made, meaning to rip it to shreds. But it was too late. Without my permission, your father had given it to Dr. Gall. He wanted the grade, you see. I never forgave him.
I wouldn't.
He's dead. But she isn't. It was never meant to be anything more than theoretical. And who but the vilest monster would stage it? After the war, she pulled my proposal out, and me with it, introducing me to Panem as the architect of the Hunger Games. That night I tried morphling for the first time. I thought the thing would die out. It was so ghastly. But it didn't. Dr. Gall took it and ran, and she has dragged me along with it for the last 10 years. It certainly supports her view of humanity, especially using the children. And why is that? Because we credit them with innocence. And if even the most innocent among us turn into killers in the Hunger Games, what does that say? That our essential nature is violent, self-destructive.
It's all fake. It's all fake. Oh, for God's sake.
Snow remembered Pluribus's account of his father's falling out with Dean Highbottom and quoted the letter, like moths to a flame. The dean's eyes narrowed, but Snow only smiled and said, "But of course, you're testing me. You know her far better than I do." "I'm not so sure." Dean Highbottom traced the silver rose on the compact with a finger. "So what did she say when you told her you were leaving?" "Dr. Gall? Your little songbird. When you left 12, was she sad to see you go?" "I expect it made us both a little sad." Snow pocketed the compact and gathered Sejanus's things. "I'd better go. We have a new living room set being delivered, and I promised my cousin I'd be there to oversee the movers."
Shut the hell up.
"Off you go, then. Back to the penthouse." Snow did not care to talk about Lucy Gray with anyone, particularly not Dean Highbottom. Smiley had sent him a letter at the Plinth's old address, mentioning her disappearance. Everybody thought the mayor had killed her, but they couldn't prove it. As to the covey, a new commander had replaced Hoff, and his first move had been to outlaw shows at the Hob, because music caused trouble.
Fuck off.
Yes, it certainly does. Lucy Gray's fate was a mystery then, just like the little girl who shared her name in that maddening song. Was she alive? Dead? A ghost who haunted the wilderness? I hope you never find out. I hope you go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and he never does, and that's the best part.
Can you imagine how fucking shaken Snow was, though, when she sang that frickin' meadow song and the frickin' hanging tree song?
Quaking.
But I think that Pete is Lucy and Lucy Gray and Katniss is Sejanus. Come and fuck them up.
Absolutely, in that order.
Perhaps no one would ever really know. No matter. Snow had been the ruination of them both. Poor Lucy Gray. Poor ghost girl singing away with her birds.
Yeah, you feel so bad about that.
Are you?
Fuck.
Are you coming to the tree?
And then Katniss comes out of left field with a steel chair.
So we'd both be free. She could fly around District 12 all she liked, but she and her mockingjays could never harm him again. I was hoping you would do that. Oh, just fucking wait. He didn't like love. The way it had made him feel stupid and vulnerable.
This fucking part.
If he ever married, he'd choose someone incapable of swaying his heart.
I couldn't believe you
someone
clocked
he hated
this shit.
Even. So they could never manipulate him the way Lucy Gray had.
I could not believe this.
Never make him feel jealous.
This started and
weak.
I went, no.
Livia Cardew would be perfect. And I just fucking screamed. I can't believe I clocked that. That was hysterical. I just was like, he's going to marry someone really well, because I'm like, I know that he has a granddaughter, right? Because that was like Joanna's whole reason for voting in favor of the Hunger Games.
Like, we can put his granddaughter in it.
Snow has a granddaughter. I vote yes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so someone let him reproduce with her. Horrific, I know, to even consider.
Apparently not for the TikTok girlies.
But seems, oh my God.
We see you out there.
And we have questions. Please talk to your mothers. Like, I don't know. So,
what's your refrain? Just because he's hot, it doesn't mean you have to fuck him.
It's true. And sometimes it means you shouldn't. But someone fell on the grenade that is his penis and created another person.
A flurry?
Horrible. Horrible, Gus. Horrible.
A little flurry?
Horrible. A snowflake.
A snowflake?
Oh, God.
Oh, why did I bring this up?
The swirling whiteness in relation to Snow's penis was not good for me.
I was calling his child a flurry.
Oh, I took it differently.
What?
That's why I went horrible over and over again.
I was calling his child a flurry.
Oh, I see now. Yes, that's clever. I thought you were making a reference to some other...
I was not.
White substance.
I was certainly not.
Anyway, so I
was trying to be cute. Oh, boy.
You know what? And I couldn't think of anyone who was horrible enough to let Snow with his like gross ass, like mouth sores that smell like blood and death.
They do smell like blood and death.
I couldn't think of anyone who would do that except for Olivia Cardew.
And you were right.
Yeah, because she's terrible. She's the worst. He imagined the two of them. Ugh. I don't want to imagine the two of them.
No.
The president and his first lady presiding over the Hunger Games a few years from now. He'd continue the games, of course, when he ruled Panem.
You fuck.
People would call him a tyrant, iron-fisted and cruel, but at least he would ensure the survival for survival's sake, giving them a chance to evolve. They can't evolve if their leaders are cruel.
Yeah, bro. No, you're fucking it up.
Yeah, what kind of logic is that? We can't evolve if our leaders are cruel. What? What else could humanity hope for? Really, it should thank him. I'll shove that thank you right up your ass.
I don't think it should.
He passed Pluribus's nightclub and allowed himself a small smile. A person could get rat poison at any number of places, but he'd surreptitiously scooped up a pinch of it from the back alley last week and taken it home. It had been tricky getting it into the morphling bottle, especially using gloves, but eventually he'd squeezed what he judged to be a sufficient dose through the opening. He'd taken the precaution of making sure the bottle was wiped clean. There was nothing to make Dean Highbottom suspect it when he pulled it from the trash and slipped it into his pocket.
You're the tree.
Nothing when he unscrewed the dropper and dipped the morphling onto his tongue, although he couldn't help hoping that, as the dean drew his final breath, he'd realize what so many others had realized when they'd challenged him. What all of Panem would one day know. What was inevitable. Snow lands on top.
But it doesn't, though.
I can't wait for you to get ripped apart by a mob.
Ultimately, it does. It does for quite a while there.
I know. It's unfortunate that he gets to have such a long period of
He gets like a
fun.
solid 65 years of slot, and then it turns into slob.
But he gets to know that his legacy is dead.
Utterly trashed. And we have Emily Ann on TikTok doing the Snow's granddaughter TikToks, which are my favorite thing.
I love her.
Where she just calls
hysterical.
him Peepaw.
Peepaw.
And talks about how much she likes PETA. Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. And she's like creating AO3 fan fiction of Katniss and PETA and her and PETA. And oh, it's great.
Yeah. Hey.
Snow's granddaughter.
Yeah, Snow's granddaughter. Yeah.
I was being clear because that could sound like Emily Ann was doing that. Which, if she were, good for her.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
We've done it.
We've done it.
We've actually finished a series. We have never done that.
We've never done that. That's right. This is our first time finishing a series.
This is a weird experience. I am uncomfortable with the concept.
Oh my God.
But I'm really happy that we've done this this side quest.
Suzanne, write another, please.
That way we will not be done with the series.
I would like that, please.
I would like that very much. But only if she has a story that she really thinks needs to be told.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's what I think is so great about the Hunger Games.
Tigress
would be good.
Tigress book, please.
I think that's what's so good about the Hunger Games is that, you know, people talk about the explosion of dystopian sci-fi for YA audiences after this series, and it's like, yeah, man, when you have something like this to try to copycat off of,
I mean,
of fucking course,
it's just so good,
and
it's so good,
deep, and thematically interesting.
And like, people talk a lot about how much it's like Battle Royale, and you know that she copied them or whatever, whether she did or didn't, right? I mean, artists copy each other and steal from each other all the time.
Well,
that's like the nature of things.
Here's the thing. Let's talk about this. We got to throw a real quick ad thing in here real quick because the platform's going to be sad otherwise. So 1 second. Be right back. Welcome back. I mean, the thing about Battle Royale is, like, the only similarity it has to Battle Royale is the concept of a bunch of kids try to kill each other.
Yeah, and for Battle Royale, it's like a government thing that they do. I can't even remember. I read it a long time ago. They do it to, like...
Keep people afraid of the government.
Afraid of the government. And, yeah, that's pretty much
it.
Similarity. Because what Suzanne Collins is doing, which is a different thing, and both books are, hers is a series and the other one is one book, both pieces of literature, right, have something to say about and are using the violence that children are forced to inflict on each other. Because in Battle Royale, it's like one classroom of students.
Yeah,
they pick a random
They
classroom.
pick a class of 50 students at random.
Yeah.
And then they have to fight it out.
And then they have to fight it out. And the survivor gets to go home.
Yeah.
Versus this where it's like, you know, each district has to pick, has to have 2 kids randomly drawn and go, or they can volunteer. And really what she has something to say about is like the nature of this increasingly voyeuristic entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, people have said that in part it's about what Hollywood and youth celebrity does to kids, which is absolutely true.
I think it's definitely that. I think it's definitely also reality television and what
Yeah,
it does
reality
to people.
TV,
I mean, it ruins some people's lives.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and like they don't
They're not taken care of at all.
take care of those people at all. I mean, they've started to do things like have on-set psychiatric help for people and things like that. But I mean, it's not great. The way that those people are treated is not great.
It's also just like a very angry anti-establishment, you know, to an extent anti-capitalist, or anti-shareholder capitalist, literature. And she's pissed about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and she's got a lot to say about a lot of stuff. And she said a lot about a lot of stuff. And somehow she also made it accessible to middle grade readers.
Yeah.
You know? And
I mean, that's what I think is so wild is that, I mean, she really introduced dystopic literature to young people. I mean, I know that there was some other, like obviously The Giver, there's a bunch, but like of this kind.
Because I think, well, she packaged it in pop fiction is what I think she did really cleverly, because it's, you know, you read 1984 oftentimes in middle school. You read Brave New World.
You read 1984? No, you do not really read Brave New World in middle school.
I read 1984 in 8th grade.
Well, okay, you are a very different sort of 8th grade.
Animal Farm in 6th grade.
Yeah, you are a very different sort of child.
I read...
You went to genius school.
I read, I'm trying to think what else.
Brave New World.
Lord of the Flies.
Brave New World is a little rough for...
Brave New World I read in high school. Brave New World's heavy.
Mature.
They're all heavy.
Well, those are all really heavy books.
Yeah. Fahrenheit 451.
Well, Fahrenheit 451 I read as a high school freshman.
Yeah. Lord of the Flies.
No, I felt like middle school was like The Giver, like Where the Red Fern Grows.
Yeah, that
Number
sounds
of the
right.
Stars era.
I think I
which
read
were all rough also.
Of
but,
Mice and Men, which is also rough.
Oh, yeah, that's up there.
And Red Pony. It was a lot of Steinbeck in middle school for me. But I think the thing about all of those is you think of those books in America, anyway, in the States, in our curricula that we had, and you think of those like, oh yeah, it's those books you read in school. And maybe you like them a lot, maybe you don't, but they're like school books. The Hunger Games, you could absolutely study these. You know, we have now effectively studied these for, I don't know how many hours of content we've put out about. I think it's about the same number of episodes as like Winter's Heart or Path of Daggers, I think we did.
In total?
This. Yeah, I think, because it was like 6, 6, 8, 12. So what is it, 32 episodes? Roughly, I'm probably off a little bit. It might be less, fewer. But, you know, when you're reading the Hunger Games books as a kid, you're reading them because they're fun.
Right.
And she's managed to sort of filter all of her messages and all of her thoughts through in a way that is like, it's just fun, but it says a lot. And that's great. And obviously, I'm not saying Lord of the Flies isn't fun. I'm not saying 1984 isn't fun. I'm not saying Brave New World wasn't fun when I read it. But those books you go into like, oh, it's a capital B book that I have to capital R read so I can capital T think.
Yeah.
Whereas Hunger Games isn't that, but it is at least as
I think it has a lot of literary merit.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Big time. I think
it hits harder when you're an adult.
It does. I mean, I wouldn't know. I didn't read it as a kid, but I was aware of it as a kid. Didn't know any of the story.
I'm also just like, it feels like Susan Collins just kind of like predicted the course of American discourse.
A little bit.
In like a wild way. And I'm not sure if that is like Like, what's the chicken and egg scenario there? Because I have seen a lot of young people talking about, like, you know, you think we're not politically aware? Like, we grew up with the Hunger Games, and we grew up with books talking about, like, the establishment and teaching us that, like, we need to be active about this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Is it the Hunger Games leading to Gen Z, or is it Suzanne Collins being a prophet?
Can be both, right?
And I guess some of these conversations were being had at the time.
They were.
It just feels like it's grown more and more relevant as time goes on. And how wild is that you can write a book when I was in high school. Now I'm a grown married woman, and those books slap way harder. Mm-hmm. Like, you and I were a mess during that third book.
Oh, God, yeah. Mockingjay was horrifically depressing.
Well, no, but like the end.
Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, no.
Oh, my God. We were like sobbing.
What, you mean the part where I just burst into tears thinking about
Finnick's son and Annie.
Oh,
my God.
Cresta and all that shit.
How dare she do this to us? But also, please do more.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, Suzanne.
Yeah, I give it...
Well, and then this book got such negative
incorrect
feedback at first.
Wrong. No.
I had some really negative reviews.
I give this series 5.
But I feel like...
out of 5.
It is so relevant also.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think I saw a video, it was TikTok, talking about this, where somebody was like, yeah, I think a lot of people who didn't like Ballad thought it was a love story. It isn't.
No, it's a possession story.
It's a story about what the Hunger Games can be used for, and control and power and philosophy and stuff. And, you know, I link it this good.
Yeah. And then by extension, how often love can look, how like things can look like love, but are not love.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that the Capitol, like, we do the Hunger Games because we love the districts and we want to, like, make sure they never leave us.
You, and it's like, no.
And it's like, that's not how that works.
Get fucked.
It's not how that works. Love is not possession.
No. Well,
what a wild ride that was.
Speaking of love, I loved it.
I love these books.
I had a wonderful time.
I don't get like weird around celebrity people.
I would lose my mind.
If I met her, I would like
lose my fucking mind.
Be such a weirdo. I would try so hard to be chill. I really would, but I would actually cry.
Yeah, I would be a mess.
I love her mind so much.
Yeah, she's
I'm obsessed with Suzanne Collins.
She's something else.
And I don't care who knows it.
Yeah. Well,
Suzanne, if you're out there and you're listening,
thanks for being
my agent's
great.
number is no, I'm just kidding. Just want to talk to you for a minute. I'd be so cool, I promise.
No, you wouldn't.
It would not be cool at all.
No, not even a little bit.
It would not be cool at all. I'd be sweaty and weird.
Well, do we want to wrap it up? I mean, want to? No, but shall we? We still have the movies.
It's true. We do. And I think we could do like some live reactions or something to you watching the...
Think about it. We'll figure something out.
2 movies. I'm not ready to be done.
I am also not ready to be done, but here we are. We're done.
But isn't that like the way you want the stuff you love to end?
Yeah.
Is you wanting more?
Yeah.
It's so sad when they beat something to death and you're like, oh my God, just let it die.
Again, why I'm happy there are 4 Hunger Games books.
Yeah.
Like, could do a 5th. But I mean, only if you really want to.
But only if you really want to and you really have a story to tell. Yeah. Okay, well, shall we do one last mind meld?
Thanks for listening, everyone. We've got social media if you want to know what we've got going on and what might be coming soon.
We might have an announcement at some point in the next
keep an eye out, and we'll also post something, like a podcast announcement too, so you don't have to just troll our Twitter.
Not to be super coy.
We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. And you can leave us a rating and a review, which would be real cool. Other than that, do you want to do a mind meld?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, ready?
All right. 3. You good? You got one?
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Dr.
Suze.
Gall.
Oh, interesting combination.
Suze and Dr. Gall. Okay.
3, 2, 1. The Hunger
Pasta High Bottom.
Games.
Damn it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
3, 2, 1. The
Cross
Academy.
Snow. What? Why? Okay. No, you know what? We're not going to be rude about it. We're not going to be rude.
Yeah, okay,
You know
right.
what? I got it. I've got it.
Yep.
And you've got it
Yep,
too.
yep.
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Coriolanus Snow.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Are you coming to the tree where they strung up a man, they say, who murdered 3? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.